Hey everybody, it's Marc Veasey from Texas, and welcome back to the Fly-In, which is a New Dem podcast. It's Tuesday, October the 7th, and Greg could not join us today. He is in Ohio trying to get caught up on all of his pop culture and music that he seemed to have missed out on as a child. But we do have from fabulous sunny San Diego, my dear friend, Congresswoman Sara Jacobs. Sara, it is great to have you here today. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and just say hi to everyone?
Well, thanks, Mark. It's so great to be here with you all. So I represent San Diego in Congress, and it is an amazing place, and it is also the largest military community in the country. So a lot of what I've been doing at home is talking to our military families about what the shutdown means for them, how they're going to be able to, make ends meet. Even without a shutdown, we have about 44,000 members of military families who visit the San Diego Food Bank every single month. And so this is not a population that can easily go without a paycheck. And so we're working hard to do everything we can to make sure that our service members and their families and all of our federal workers have what they need during the shutdown.
Sara, you have like very interesting social media. Let me tell you, I love it. And I like to give you a hard time about stuff, but I gotta admit, your social media is fire, right? What has been your most popular hit? Like, what has been the one that has gotten like the most views, or that people talked about the most when you went home? People were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, I saw that." Which one was it?
There have been a few, but actually, our most viewed video ever was just from last week. It was the night that the shutdown started. We did a video in the dark, like kind of "Are you afraid of the dark?" For those 90s kids out there, themed, and it is now over 9 million views on TikTok.
Wow, that is incredible. Sara, is this your first shutdown? Or have you been through one before?
This is my first shutdown. I've been through a few almost shutdowns, but this is the first one that we've ever actually gone past the deadline for.
Yeah, and it is different. And you'll see when you're back in your district, you're probably already experiencing that now. People are going to come up to you. They're going to ask, hey, when is it going to reopen? Am I going to receive all of my back pay? Or is this Russ Vought guy over at OMB or him and Trump really going to fire us from our jobs? And so there are going to be all sorts of things like that you will hear. And you may already have some stories like that to share with us. And so, Democrats, we've made our position clear. We support a full bipartisan funding bill that opens government up and wards off what I think would be a healthcare crisis that the Republicans would create if they were to go ahead and do things the way that they want to, and making sure that we protect Medicaid and Medicare and stop skyrocketing out-of-pocket expenses for everyday average Americans, I think is the most important thing that we can really do right now. And yesterday, Trump told reporters that they were speaking with Democrats, and some very good things could happen with respect to health care.
Then we talk about negotiations that we have going on right now. We have a negotiation going on right now with the Democrats that could lead to very good things.
But yet, our Democratic leaders are saying that they haven't spoken to Republicans. So once again, Trump is lying, and Republicans are saying that they will not negotiate on extending the ACA premium tax credits during the shutdown. And so I think the question to consider, and Sara, I want you to jump in on this, is Trump pushing Republicans to the negotiating table, or does he have or does he have no idea what's going on? I think he probably has zero idea what's going on.
Well, look, it's kind of crazy to me that he says that, they're talking to us since the only way he's communicated with Democrats since the big White House meeting was literally these like weird AI meme videos. But, let's be clear, this is the party that just kicked 15 million Americans off their health care. And
Yes.
so I do think if they know what is, good for them politically, they will come to the table and help us address this looming crisis. But I can't say I have a lot of faith that they will.
Have you heard from any Republicans? I have not. Have you heard from any of your Republican colleagues, maybe some there in California, about this situation at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I've heard from folks who have been in previous shutdowns that, normally what would happen is, rank and file members would start talking to each other, try and see if you can like get a deal at bottom up. But I have not heard of any of that happening at all. And Donald Trump's supposed to be this great deal maker. This is not the art of the deal. You can't even get to an agreement if you won't even actually talk to us.
No, no. And it really makes you wonder because they talk about how they're the party of everyday working people, like the people that voted for them. I mean, they're going to kick them off of their health care. They're actually are willing to let these rural hospitals shut down with these games that they're playing about not wanting to reimburse rural hospitals for emergency care. And they're willing to let all their constituents that live out in places like rural California and rural Texas go without health care. And it's just, I think that it's crazy
Yeah.
that they
All to
just
fund
seem
tax
to lack
cuts for the
empathy.
rich. Yeah.
Say that again, Sarah.
All just to fund tax cuts for the
Yeah,
rich.
right, exactly. All just the fun tax cuts for the rich. And so I think that is crazy. I think that it's ridiculous. And it's really sad, I think, what's happening right now, that they can't look past what Trump is trying to do to this country and actually help the people that put them in office. I think that is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, and so with that, we're going to go to the clip of the week.
Okay.
We're going to have some clips from Speaker Mike Johnson, where he spread some lies about Republicans' position on health care.
Let me look right into the camera and tell you very clearly, Republicans are the ones concerned about health care. Republicans are the party working around the clock every day to fix health care. This is not talking points for us. We've done it. A big part of the one big beautiful bill, the working families tax cut, was to fix health care.
Wow, you talk about a dude that just can't help but lying. Sarah, I hope that he's from Louisiana. He's from right next door to me, and I hope that this does not sour your opinion. All of us aren't liars like that. I just want you to know that.
I believe
So,
I believe you.
yeah, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
that he knows he's lying because of that like smarmy smirk on his face.
Yeah, the smirk on his face. And what really upsets me about Johnson is that he always is, thus says the Lord this and thus says the Lord that. But when it comes to Donald Trump, I think it's amazing to me that he can put Donald Trump in front of Jesus Christ and just literally lie through his teeth. I think that is absolutely incredible because they even know that this big ugly bill is going to cause a lot of people to lose their health care, and that by canceling these ACA tax credits, that is going to put a lot of constituents like he represents in Shreveport in a very, very tough situation.
I mean, Mark,
Um,
it's bad when MTG is literally disagreeing with them.
And I'm not going to stand there and just keep talking the talking points when my own adult children can hardly afford health insurance premiums, when everyone in my district, it's the #1 issue that I hear about day in and day out, not just people on the ACA, but people that have private insurance as well. And I think it's something that we have to talk about.
I'm glad that she spoke out because I'm sure she's starting to hear from people in her district that are worried about losing their health care or their rural hospital closing. She has to be.
I mean,
Yeah.
I heard in my district from a 60-year-old couple who makes about $82,000 a year that their healthcare will go up by $15,000.
Wow.
$1,000.
Yeah. That is real money. And what really makes me mad is that during this time they always push the immigration scare button, right? Like that's their go-to.
Listen, I represent San Diego. We're literally on the border. And for us, these border and immigration politics aren't theoretical. I know they aren't for you in Texas either. I actually one time got in an argument with Mike Johnson before he was speaker, when he was on the Armed Services Committee with us, because he was trying to mansplain the border to me. And I had to ask him what border he was talking about, the border between Louisiana and Texas, because I represent the actual border community. And it was nothing like what he was saying. And so, look, we in California know, of course, that like our immigrant community is important. and an important part of our economy, of our social fabric. And I think it's really important to say that there is nothing in the Democratic proposal to reopen the government that would give undocumented folks access to healthcare. It is already federal law that undocumented folks do not have access to federal healthcare programs like Medicaid, Medicare, ACA exchanges. And there is nothing that we are proposing. I don't think there's a single Democrat right now who's injecting that into the conversation and saying that that's something we should try and change as part of this negotiation. So once again, they're just flat out lying.
One of the things that could happen if we were there right now is it relates to the Epstein files. And as you know, Representative Gravalia, who was just won a special election to replace her father in Arizona, is believed to be the 218th person needed for the discharge petition on the Epstein file vote. And so I want to ask you, do you think, because I do, I'll be 100%, I'll be 100 with you. I think that Republicans are not having us in DC right now because they don't want to have to vote on the Epstein files. What do you think about that?
I think that's exactly right. There is no other excuse for the fact that we're in the middle of a shutdown and Speaker Mike Johnson sent us all home and refuses to call Congress into session and refuses to let Adelita Grijalva get sworn in during a pro forma session, even though just last month they swore in 2 Florida members in a pro forma session the day after their election.
I'm sure that Trump is doing everything that he can behind the scenes to threaten people and say he's going to primary people and what have you if they vote to let the Epstein files out. But I don't think that that is going to help him. People want to see what's in those files. He's mentioned in there several times. We know that he is because Pam Bondi informed him of that. And the American public needs to see what it says, especially because they made the biggest damn deal about releasing the files in the first place. So it's insane that all of a sudden they don't want to release them. I think that is crazy.
I mean, I'll be honest, my interest in the Epstein files has grown based on how much they're trying to hide it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if your boyfriend doesn't let you see his phone, all of a sudden you're like, wait, what was on his phone? And then like leaves town for a month so that you can never see his phone. Like that's what Mike Johnson is doing. And I think anyone with any common sense, it just makes us more curious to know what is in those files. It must be something really, really bad.
I want to talk a little bit about Russ Vought because I think that this is fascinating. You know, he says that if Democrats don't help reopen the government, that he is going to fire all these federal employees, including MAGA federal employees, and use them as pawns. But I think that all of us know that since Russ Vought has been a little kid, before he could ride a bicycle, that he dreamed of causing chaos and confusion and hurting people that work for the federal government. That literally, this is what this man dreams of: is how can I hurt federal employees? How can I cause discomfort, economic discomfort in their life? I hate federal employees. That is literally like who Russ Vought is. What do you think about him trying to use federal employees as pawns?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump and Russ Vought have literally been shutting down the government and doing mass firings illegally of federal workers since they got sworn in. So they don't actually need a shutdown to do this. They are just, trying to use it to, I don't know, get us to capitulate or something. And also, I think it's very interesting that during the campaign, Donald Trump tried to distance himself and pretend he knew nothing about Project 2025. And now he's saying Russ Vought, the author of Project 2025, is like so smart and great because he's implementing Project 2025.
Sara, before we get ready to go, do you have anything? And I want everybody out there to know, Sara and I are like really good friends, and sometimes the banter between us is really interesting. And I just want to thank her for not reminding me that I'm older than her today. Sara, I really appreciate that. And maybe that means that I will get to, come hang out with you in some really cool place in San Diego one day.
You're always invited, Mark, no matter how old you get. I will always help you with your technology.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And keep you hip and cool, or as hip and cool as I am, which my younger siblings remind me is actually not that much.
I love your siblings. That is awesome. Now I don't know them, but I already love
them. Yes, 36 turns out very young for Congress, not that young in the real world.
Sarah, thank you for taking the time to join us at the last minute. I hope that Greg is someplace in Ohio getting caught up on all the pop culture that he missed in the 1980s. I don't think that kid ever watched MTV back in the 80s or 90s. But anyway, thank you for taking the time to join us. And for all of you out there that have watched the fly-in, thank you. Please remember to follow us across all of our social media platforms and to rate and review the show the next time you get our podcast. And let's pray that we get the government reopened for all of the federal employees out there that are concerned about how they're going to make their mortgages and put food on the table. We'll see you next week on the fly-in.